Good morning, good morning, good morning. For this is the day that the Lord has made. I am rejoicing and I am so glad in it. If you have not already, good morning, Karen. If you have not already, I need you to go ahead and tag and share this word of the Lord on this morning. My God, my God. Go ahead and tag at least 5 people. Share this on your page. They may have to catch the replay, but I am excited about what the Lord is going to speak to us on this morning. I am excited about what the Lord is doing in your life. I am excited despite what's happening in the earth. I'm excited about what God is doing with his people, for his people, and through his people. If you have not already, go ahead and tag and share. Good morning, Ashley. Good morning, Sheila Talbert. Good morning, Sabria. Good morning, Karen. Good morning. Who all do I have on here this morning? Good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Tamika, over there on YouTube. Good morning, and God bless you. This is your day. This is your hour for a life-changing word on this morning. Good morning, Isha. Listen, I need you to tag. I need you to share this morning. I am excited about the word of the Lord. As you can see scrolling across the bottom of the screen, I will be speaking at my coverings church on the 29th. If you were at, oh my God, if you were at our last encounter, my God, today, y'all, I don't even know what to say about that encounter. All God told me, he says, I'm not done. I'm not done. If you were at that last encounter that we had in about 2 weeks ago, about a week ago in September, listen, God told me, he said, I'm going to continue the work, daughter. I have transitioned you, which is where this word is going this morning. He told me, he says, because I have shifted you, I have transitioned you into another realm in me for my people. He said, so where I am taking you, he said, I need you to usher my people into my presence. So if you were there on that Friday night, listen, we were a whole mess in the Holy Spirit before the service even got started. I was there, y'all, I was on time. I think it was like 7:05. That's good for me because one, I did not stay at the hotel. I stayed home. So I got off work, came home, sat in the presence of the Lord, drove, waited till my girls got off from work, drove all the way to Charlotte, and I was on time. And God met us there. He met us there and he wrecked the place. And what I love about God is this, because I am one of those people that I am so submitted to the work. I am so sold out to the work, to the assignment, until I know it is not about me. I know it is not about an agenda. It is not even about me raising an offering. I want God to do what he do first. Then the people can sow. But I'm not even about, okay, well, let me make sure you get this offering out the way because they may leave. That's not me. I am so, because I tell God, I say, God, I will consecrate, I will fast, I will do whatever I need to do for you to minister through me to your people so that I can usher them in. And so I am submitted. When I say I am submitted to the work, that means I have to crucify this flesh before I come before the presence of the people. And I can't usher you in. Okay, y'all, I can't usher you in if I'm not clean. I cannot usher you in if I am not consecrated. I cannot usher you in to that realm that we experienced in God unless I'm in a position. So I tell the Lord, I will allow you to fill me up spiritually all week. And then when I get there Friday night, you need to empty me out. Use me for your glory. So God does that every single time. And I am so excited about that. So you all have to understand, if your leaders are not consecrated, if your leaders are not before the Lord, how you gonna feed? Okay, y'all, I'm trying not to go there this morning. How you gonna feed me if you're not consecrated? How you gonna feed me if your hands dirty? How you gonna feed? Okay, y'all, I'm going to the word because you know what? I stay on the hot seat. Y'all know that, right? I stay on the hot seat. And I said, you know what that means? I'm doing my work. I am doing the assignment. And so I just believe that because I empty out, I submit, I consecrate, I do all these things so that God can use me for his glory. He does what he needs to do. Good morning, my friend Dana. He does what he needs to do. And I'm so grateful that he chose little old me, little old Peaches from the hood, from Lockwood community. He chose me to be his vehicle for the people. So let's jump right into this word this morning, because what God began to tell me, he says, daughter, he says, I am transitioning my elect. Listen, I am transitioning my chosen. I am transitioning my royal priesthood, my peculiar people. Though he said, but they got to understand. Good morning, Teresa. He says they have to understand that as I am transitioning them, they must be in position, because a lot of us, the majority, okay, 90% of us, God is going to transition us before the end of this year. For me, it's already started. For me, I told my team, I said, I'm out there now. Catch me when you can, because I can't come back. Can y'all just drop that in the chat? Transitioning. It's power in the okay, y'all. It's power in the transition. Watch it. When the transition is taking place, there is a stretching. When the transition is taking place, there is a pulling apart. When the transition is taking place, it hurts sometimes. Transition don't always feel good. Transition, listen, but you got to be in position to be transitioned. You got to be able to hear, to know this is God speaking to me and not my flesh. This is God telling me to do this and not my flesh. This is God telling me to buy this and not my flesh. You got to know that you know his voice. And I'm going to tell, I keep saying it, if you are not in this, you don't know his voice. You may know what he's speaking through Dr. 3. Y'all, to be in the word of God is so important right now. To be fasting and consecrating is so important, right? Because I keep telling, this morning I woke up with this song. Y'all remember Dottie Peoples? Right, so I know, I don't know why I'm on this old school kick right now. But I woke up, y'all remember that song by Dottie Peoples, Get Your House in Order. Do it today. I woke up thinking, because my dad used to love this song. I woke up thinking about that this morning. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Because I was sharing with some people on yesterday. I said, I feel like I'm John the Baptist. Y'all know I keep saying it. I said, I keep feeling like I'm John the Baptist out here in the wilderness crying, repent, he's coming, and nobody's listening. Listen, because we got to understand that what he is doing in this season, he is transitioning us, and we cannot take everybody with. Let me get into this word. We're going to talk about Abraham and Lot. Abraham and Lot, because I feel like I'm about to just take off running. Abraham and Lot. God began to tell him, he says, I am stretching, I am transitioning, I am pulling on my people. Listen, he says, I am shifting you, transitioning you to the best you've ever experienced. But there are some things, oh God, and there are some people that you can't take with you. Okay. He says this, he said, in this season, you got to understand who's really your assignment. Who you really, because watch this, because what God has showed me, he says, you can have unnecessary warfare, who you have with you. You can have unnecessary warfare because of who's around you. You can have unnecessary warfare because of where you're sitting, the atmosphere that you're in. He said, so daughter, he said, be very careful where you go. Be very careful of the engagements that you take. Be very careful of who you give your yes to in this season. Watch this. He said, you got to know who your assignment is, because everybody is not your assignment. You got unnecessary warfare because you have taken it on. And a lot of this stuff that we eat. Okay, y'all, I'm trying to calm myself, but I've been on one, listen, for about 2 months. Listen, he says, because a lot of unnecessary warfare that you are in is because I told you no, and you wanted my yes. He said, so what you did, is you went ahead. He said, and I gave you my permissive will because I was sick of you begging, and now you in it, and now you sitting here like, well, he said, you know what? No. The unnecessary warfare is what I tried to prevent you from having. Watch this. But you went anyway. Okay. Y'all, I know. Let me just, Genesis 12. Genesis 12, 1-5. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready this morning? God gonna help us. He gonna help us, Viv, with this transition, because we can't transition and take mess with us. Watch this. Genesis 12, 1-5. The Lord said to Abram, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to a land I'm going to show you. I need you to be obedient and just go. You ain't got to know where you're going. Someone's like, I got to know where I'm going, and I got to know where I'm going to be, and I got to know, and I got to. God told Abraham, go from everything that's familiar to you. What did he say? Your country, your people, your father's household, to a land I will show you once you are obedient. And can y'all just drop this in the chat? Just go. Just go. Verse 2. He says, and I will. Not maybe. Not I'm going to, not, it's just, it might happen, it might not. Just, I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. Watch this, verse 3. And I will bless those who bless you. But whoever curses you, I'm going to curse them. And all their people on the earth will be blessed through you. Verse 4. So Abram went as the Lord had told him. And watch this. And Lot went with him. Jesus. And Lot went with him. Listen how old he was. I'm getting old time. Abram was 75 years old. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. He took his wife Sarah, his nephew Lot. Y'all listen to this. He took his nephew Lot and all the possessions they had accumulated and the people they had acquired in Haran. And they set out for the land of Canaan, and they arrived there. Watch this. In Acts 7:2-4, it says, God revealed through Stephen that this promise was made to Abraham when he dwelt in Haran. Genesis 12:1-3 repeats a promise that God had said to Abram. God repeated the promise now. Why? Watch this. God had already promised him this before. He repeats the promise. Y'all listen to this. He repeats the promise to him. This is what it says. Now that his father was dead. I'm repeat what I've told you the first time. I'm repeating it again because now your daddy dead. Do I have your what does it take for God to get your attention? Ooh, y'all, I know y'all. I've been there. I've been there. Listen, the word always hit me first. I've been there. What does it take for me to get your attention? Whew. It says, God repeated the promise now that his father was dead. Watch this. And now Abram's attitude has changed. The first time he told you to leave, you didn't do nothing. He said, so I'm going to repeat the promise again. Watch this. So I'm going to repeat what I promised you again, because the first time I said it, you didn't really receive it. But now that I have your attention, I'm going to repeat the promise again. And then it says, and now Abram is compelled to do what God said. Do y'all see this? I gotta allow some stuff to get your attention. Now that I have your attention, will you please move? Now that I have your attention, will you be obedient? Drop that in the chat. Drop this in the chat. God, you have my attention. God, you have my attention. It says, watch this. And it says, even then, now, okay, your father has died. Here come God saying, leave everything and go where I'm telling you. I'll let you know when you start being obedient. I'll let you know when you start moving your feet. I'll let you know my specific instructions once I see that you're a little bit obedient to what I said. Watch this. But Abraham's moving, Abraham speaking, watch this. God speaking to Abraham, telling him again, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to make your name great, I'm going to do all this stuff. It was still partial obedience. Do you watch this? Partial obedience would get you in trouble every single time. What does God have to do to get your attention? I tell people all the time, I said, you know, when I was called to preach, honey, I wanted to sing in the choir first. Then I wanted to be an usher. I want to do everything. And God said, I said, work in the church and preach my gospel. So you just going to work in the church, but you ain't going to preach the gospel, right? So it was partial obedience. Baby, I paid a price for that. Partial obedience is disobedience. Partial obedience is disobedience. I keep telling you, in this season, hot or cold, he's not dealing with no lukewarm stuff. He said, the taste of you, and I will spew you out of my mouth. Listen, he says partial obedience is disobedience. He said, but I deal with that. But watch this. It says, why was Abraham partially obedient? Listen to this. Instead, it meant the fulfillment of the promise was his partial obedience. Watch this, y'all. This gonna bless y'all. Well, why I ain't got it yet? Well, why? I've been praying and fasting and seeking it. But did you do everything that God told you 100%? Partial obedience delayed the promise. Because watch it, because God can't lie. He gonna do what he said. It's gonna delay it. You're gonna have some unnecessary warfare. You're gonna have some problems along the way. He said, but I'm gonna do what I said. But your partial obedience delays the promise. What is he saying this morning? When I said, so XYZ, when I said do tithe XYZ and you partially did it, he said, okay. Because I'm gonna tell you, and I know people don't like when you start talking about the seed and sowing it, But let me tell y'all something. And I shared this with my team a couple weeks ago. I said, tithing and sowing. Oh, baby, you better be doing it, because a time is coming. You're gonna wish you had her, because you're gonna need God financially, and He's gonna remind you. Okay, I'm gonna stay right here. Y'all ain't pulling. I ain't doing it this morning. So Abraham's partial obedience did not take God's promise away. God has said, I'm gonna do what I said, but it's gonna be delayed. I'm going to do what I said. Because when God told Abraham, go, don't take nobody. Just go. Leave your fathers. Leave your kids. Let me go back to these directions, because y'all praying this morning. Genesis 12, verse 1. The Lord said to Abram, go from your country, your people, your father's household to a land I will show you. Watch this. Go down to verse 4. So Abram went. He left. Watch this. He left. But watch this. He took his nephew with him. That is not what God said. He said, leave it all. Watch this. And that means that's what got him into partial obedience. God said, I'm still going to do what I said, because I'm God. I can't lie. Who, Jesus? You saying the same thing they said. Yes, if you was at Wesley Chapel yesterday, you already know it was on and popping. So this is just a continuation. This is why you got to know who covering you. See, y'all be playing with it. I don't play with it. Because you will remain in the same vein. You will hear the same thing that God is speaking. Listen to this. It says his partial obedience was disobedience, and it delayed the promise. God, well, I don't have it. God, I've been fasting. God, I've been praying. God, but you partially doing what he said. Okay. Then he says, to a land I will show you. After stating he wanted Abraham to leave his country and his relatives, which he didn't do. He left the country, but he took his nephew with him. That's going to be a problem later. I'm going to show y'all. I'm going to back it up. Watch this. God promised Abraham a land. Specifically, God promised the land of Canaan to him. Listen to all these promises. I'm going to give you Canaan, one. The land flowing with milk and honey. I'm going to give that to you. Then he says, and I'll make you a great nation, and I'll make your name great, and I'm going to bless everybody that bless you. And them people that put their mouth on you and curse you, he said, I'm coming after them too. He said, but on the other side, he said, and also, he says, in you, all the families of the earth going to be blessed. And you partially obeyed. And I was thinking when I was reading, I said, so Abram wasn't afraid when he took Lot? Watch it. This is going to get, this right here is the kicker. I was like, so God gave Abram all these promises, and knowing that God do what he say, that wasn't a problem for him. Watch this. So God tell you all this that he gonna do through you. I'm gonna make you great. You ain't gonna want for nothing. Everybody in the world about to be connected. You my boy. And then you turn around and you take somebody with you because you love them. Oh, because they my friend. Because they started out with me. Because they know me. So I'm gonna take you with me. I'm going to partially obey God and take who he said don't take. He took his nephew Lot. Watch this. Abram departed as the Lord spoke to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old. Watch this. Don't matter how old you are. Ain't nothing for me to do. Don't matter how old you are. Listen, it says, watch this. And Lot went with him. This was the partial obedience part. By Abram. God commanded him to go from your family. Leave your family. Now, y'all don't think I'm just saying leave everybody behind. We talking about the text. You got to pray. You got to seek. Because one thing I've noticed, when it's time for you to transition, God will start dropping signs, red flag, woo, red flag, pay attention. This is why you have to stay in the word. This is why you have to fast and pray and all this stuff. Because God will start speaking. Listen, I have heard conversations. Y'all see, some people don't even believe that. Well, how you know that God? Who told you, God? I heard the conversation. And see, God will allow us to hear. He will allow us to see. And we still say, but I'm going to take them because I don't want them to be left behind. You got to understand, who is your assignment in this season? Can y'all please drop this in the chat? I got to understand my assignment. Who am I assigned to? Who is assigned to go with me? Who gonna be a help or a hindrance later down the road? Watch this. It says, so he took his nephew Lot with him. Listen to what it says. Lot would not be a blessing to Abraham. He would be nothing but trouble and inconvenience. But I want everybody to be delivered and set free. Yeah, and that's good. That's wonderful. But just because I can be, y'all, I can care about you. I can be concerned about your soul, but that don't mean I got to invest all my oil into you, because now may not be the season for that. Now is not the season for you to be my assignment. And I understand that I may have unnecessary warfare because I got you going with me. Abraham experienced unnecessary warfare that he would not have had, and it delayed. Who is this for? And it delayed the promise. God promised me this, he promised me that, he promised me that, and it ain't happened. Well, did you do everything God told you? Because one thing I do know, he is a faithful God to an unfaithful people. Unnecessary weight will slow you down, Rebecca, every time. Remember that song? Well, y'all know Erykah Badu. She had this song. Some of y'all that's gonna act so holy, you act like you don't know who Erykah Badu is. You know who Erykah Badu is. She had this song called Bag Woman or Bag Lady. You carrying all them bags. Where you going? Some of us have so many extra baggage and so much stuff on us till I'm tired. Child, I've been, oh Lord, I can't. I'm tired. You know why you so tired? Unnecessary weight. Unnecessary warfare. Watch this. It says, yes, some of y'all know. Y'all would be lifting up, holding hands, but y'all know who Erykah Badu is. I don't care. Y'all know who she is. Listen, so it says he took Lot with him. He was 75. Watch this. Get down to Genesis 13. Watch what happened. Genesis 13. I'm going to read real fast because I don't want to run out of time. Genesis 13 verses 1 through 18. So Abraham went from Egypt and with his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with him. Verse 2, Abraham had become very wealthy in livestock and silver and gold. Watch this. And I'm going to skip all the way down. And so had Lot. These boys, and I deal with how Abraham got all his stuff later, but watch this. So these boys had money. They both were wealthy. Verse 6. But they were so wealthy. They had so much stuff. Watch this. The land could not, verse 6, the land could not support them while they stayed together, for their possessions were so much that they couldn't remain together. Watch it. And verse 7, here we go. And the arguing arose between Abram's people and Lot's people. Watch this. Verse 7. The Canaanites and the Perizzites were also living in the land at the time. So Abram said to Lot, let's not have any quarrel between you and me or between our people, for we are close relatives. It is not the whole land before you. Let's part ways. He took him. I told y'all, he took his nephew with him. He was already wealthy. So why you need your nephew to come? He took his nephew with him. Nephew became wealthy too. Now we got arguing between all our people. And these ites watching us like, but I thought y'all were the good people. Y'all acting just like us. Uh-oh. You act like us. Y'all arguing like us. So now you misrepresenting God because of who you took with him. Now y'all arguing and y'all going at each other's throat. Okay. Because you took unnecessary weight. The ice looking like y'all don't like no holy people to us. Y'all acting just like us. Y'all arguing just like we argue. That's your family. Y'all can't even get along. So how y'all gonna persuade us to serve your God? Oh, how you gonna persuade me to serve your God when y'all arguing and going on and bickering just like us? Y'all people don't get along either, and y'all family. Ooh, so they watching you. Because what did Abram do? Partial obedience. He took his nephew, and the nephew wasn't supposed to go. Y'all watch this. So it says, let me keep going. So Abram said, look at all this land that the Lord gave us. Watch this. So Lot looked around. Verse 10. So Lot looked around. Now let me back up. Verse 9. He said, it's not the whole land before you. Let's part ways here. If you go to, listen to what Abram said. Y'all, this is good right here. Abram says, if you go to the left, I'll go to the right. Listen, then Lot looked around. Jesus. Lot looked around and saw that the whole plain near the Jordan was well watered, like the garden the Lord had them in Eden. Watch this. Watch this, y'all. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Y'all hold that. I'm going to put a pin there. I'm coming back to it. So Lot looked at the land. He said, "Oh, all the water over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this because Abraham, he probably don't even know that I can see all the water over here. It look good on this side. So yeah, I'm gonna take this part over here." Abraham said, go ahead, boo. Do you? Abram didn't care. Y'all, watch this. Abram didn't care. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to it. It says, so Lot chose for himself the whole plain of the Jordan and set out toward the east. Listen, and they parted ways there. Verse 12. Abram lived in the land of Canaan, while Lot lived among the cities of the plains and pitched his tent in Sodom. Sodom and Gomorrah. Here we go. So Lot went to Sodom. Watch this, y'all. Help me. It says, now the people of Sodom were wicked. He did not look. Y'all listen. When you take unnecessary weight with you, when you take people with you, that's not where you are spiritually, unequally yoked. Because y'all just want to say that's marriage. Oh, it's friendships too. Oh, it's business partners too. I'm just, what y'all call it? Networking too. When you take people with you that's unequally yoked, they will look at things through their fleshly eyes and not through the spirit. Lot looked at that land and he saw the water and he said, you know what? I'm going to take this. Y'all come on, my people. Y'all come. So they went over there and this is Sodom where they went. And it says, because Lot didn't look with his spiritual eyes. Watch this. It says, verse 13, now the people of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. And that's where he went. Woo! Okay, watch this. Let me stay. God, this is good to me. Then, y'all, verse 14. Verse 14. The Lord says to Abram after Lot parted, after he got rid of the dead weight, after he got rid of the person that wasn't supposed to go, after he got rid of the unnecessary warfare, the Lord speaks. Watch this. And he tells him, look around from where you are, to the north and to the south, to the east and to the west. Verse 15, he said, all the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. Lot, y'all hear this, right? Lot went over there with some wicked people. As soon as, see, y'all got to hear this morning. As soon as he got rid of the person that wasn't supposed to be in his life, the person that wasn't supposed to go with him, God said, let me show you something. He said, look north, look south, look to the east. Look, he said, I'm giving you all this. But I couldn't give it. Y'all hear this? I couldn't give it to you with that dead weight with you. I couldn't bless you like I want to when you were in that position. I couldn't bless you like I wanted to as long as you had him with you. Because some people are not going to be part of the partaker in which God is about to give you. Can I help y'all this morning? Some of us are held up. Watch this. Some of us are held up. We're stagnant. We're not moving because who we have made connection with, who we have made alliances with, who we have made covenant with. He says, you know what? I'm not going to bless you long as you're in that. I ain't going to bless you long as you're sitting under that. He says, and I'm not going to show you what I really want to show you because of who you got around you. Watch this. It says, oh, this is good to me, y'all. It says, then he told him to look to the north, the south, the east, the west. He said, I'm going to give you all this. He said, I'm giving it to you forever. He said, I'm giving it to you, to your offspring forever. Verse 16, he says that I'm going to make your offspring like the dust of this earth. Jesus, watch this. So that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring will be counted. Nobody in the whole earth can count the dust. He says, that's how many we are. Listen, Jesus, we are his offspring. Watch it, verse 17. Then God tell him, go walk the length. Go walk the breadth of the land. I'm giving it to you. Oh, Jesus. He said, I'm giving it to you. And so Abraham went to live near the great trees in Hebron where he pitched his tent. There he built an altar to the Lord. None of this was happening. Oh, Jesus. Watch it, because God promised. He said, I'm going to do what I said. But all this time that it took you to get here, he says, was because of who you had with you. Because I told you in the beginning, I gave specific instructions. You heard me. Because see, y'all, we want to play these games like we don't know what God said. We want to play these games like I don't understand. And we want to make God is not that difficult. When he wants you to understand something, he's speaking in a way that you clearly know what he meant. He ain't talking to you in no riddle. But we want to act like, oh, I didn't understand what he said. Well, I thought when he said leave, that meant just go cross town. He said leave the country. But we want to act like, well, we get slow. We get, good morning, New Zealand. We get so Listen, we get so, I don't even know the word. Try to act like we so slow when it comes to the things of God. Well, I don't know what he meant. You know exactly what he meant. And the thing, God know my heart exactly. And he know that you playing stupid. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Leave it behind. He told him it cannot go with you where you going. And Abram took it because he loved his nephew. And his nephew became a problem down the road. But God had already told him, don't take him with you. And what did it do? It held up the promise until he separate. Can y'all just drop this in the chat? I got to separate myself. I got to separate myself. I got to separate myself. Watch this. So when he separated himself, he stepped into the promises of God. You want to know why you're struggling? Dead weight. You want to know why you're struggling? What you sitting under. You want to know why you're struggling? Who you done connected with. I know it's a hard word this morning. Because see, sometimes you gotta let people go in order to get where God taking you. Because where he's taking you is greater than where you're at. He says, tell them, he said, I'm transitioning them and they holding up the process. Watch this. I'm trying to transition you. You holding up the process because you holding on to mess. You holding up the process because you holding on to people that's going to be a problem when I get you down the road. You're not going to be able to prosper in the thing. You're not going to be able to operate in the thing. You're not going to have my full blessing on the thing because of what you have connected yourself to. It says, watch this. Oh God, let me see. Let's get to this offer. Oh God, because I gotta get to school. Let's get to this offer. When Abraham said, pick the land you want. Abraham, listen, Abraham's so wise, y'all. This blessed me right here. When Abraham tells Lot, you go ahead and pick what you want. Oh, this is good. Watch this. He tells him, watch this. Is not the whole land before you? Since Abraham was the eldest, watch this, and God gave all the land to Abraham anyway. Everything about, remember in the beginning in Genesis 12, God said, I'm going to give you all this land. All of it belonged to me anyway. Watch this. So he tells him, go ahead and pick what you want. It was pure generosity on Abram's part that caused him to make this offer unto Lot. Watch this. He said, if you go left, I'll go right. Listen, then he says, Abram knew. Why did Abraham do? Y'all just gonna bless y'all. Why did Abraham do that? Because sometimes the enemy can think he winning. You ain't really winning because I already know what God gonna do. Who is this for? See, some of us we want to argue with people. Well, honey, because God told me that. I ain't gotta tell you what God told me. Go ahead, boo. Do you? Because God already spoke something in my ear. Go ahead. You pick the land you want. I don't care what you get. You go ahead and do what you're doing. Go ahead. You be great. That's what listen. My team, I said, you go be great. And be just grinning, showing all 32 teeth. Go be great, boo. Go, yeah, okay. I ain't about to argue with you because I know what God told me. I know the promises of God. Watch this. So Abraham said, go look at all the land. Look, pick what you want. Why did he do that? Watch this. Why did he do that? Because Abraham knew he could trust God. Oh, God. Abram knew he could trust God. He did it because he learned that God would provide for his needs. And he did not have to worry about being too generous. I don't have to worry about if you think you getting over on me. I don't have to worry about because you lying on me. I don't have to worry about if you think you winning. I don't have to worry about if you think you surpassing me because I know what God told me. I know God is faithful. I know God gonna do what he said. And God gave me a promise that my name gonna be great. That everybody gonna come through me. God already told me he gonna give me a life. Do you really trust what God told you? Oh, Lord have mercy. Do you trust? Because he done showed you. Pastor Angie, Prophetess McCormick, he done already showed you what he gonna do. Do you believe? Do you believe? So you let them leave. I have to separate myself. So God, I have to allow the dead weight to go so God can send the divine helpers. So I have to, okay, y'all watch this. Holy Spirit just say, the glory carriers are coming. Okay, y'all, the glory carriers are coming. The ones that carry the glory, the one that carry his anointing. He said they are coming, but I can't send them because you got dead weight. Okay, y'all help me, Holy Ghost. It says, who, Lord? It says, so Abram knew whatever Lot chose, God would make sure that whatever, listen, Abraham knew, Lot, you can choose whatever land you want. I don't care. Because God already told me that I'm going to prosper in the land that he said. Do y'all hear this? Go ahead and pick your side, boo. Go ahead and leave. This is why I don't stress. God has showed me this thing, y'all, and I'm not being arrogant. Please hear my heart right now. I am not being arrogant. But leaders, y'all gonna get this. I am not being arrogant. I am not being nothing that people try to say. I'm not being bougie, as they would say. I'm not being arrogant. I'm not being vain. I'm not thinking that I'm all that, but I trust God and the promise that he gave me. So my stance is, if you leaving, baby, go quickly. If you leaving, just go ahead and go. I ain't fighting. I ain't telling you to stay. I can see what's down the road. I can see your demise. I can see that you're about to fall in a pit. I can see it. But if you go and go, no dead weight. Who is this for this morning? No dead weight. No more dead. Can y'all just drop that in the chat? No more dead weight. No more hindrances. No more holding up the kingdom assignment. No more none. If you going, baby, go. Because one thing. Okay, let me. I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna stay here. It says, Abram knew. He said, watch this, y'all. He said, pick whatever land you want, because whatever God give me, I'm gonna prosper in it. Do y'all hear this? He says, whatever God give me, he says, I'm going to prosper. So it don't matter what you pick. If it's dead, watch this. Abram's trust in God was like this. If I go over there and it's a dead wasteland, soon as my feet hit it, God going to make it grow. He said, I don't care what. He said, you can pick the best land. You can pick what look good with all the water and all the stuff. He said, but wherever I go, God going to You see, y'all just be thinking that I'm just, an average person. No, baby. Y'all be downplaying y'allself. When I be saying like, oh, y'all, I'm his girl. I know when I step foot in the building, I'm like, boy, y'all about to be blessed now because I'm here. That's why I say when you get rid of the dead weight, God will send you divine helpers. God will send you glory carriers to help push that assignment. Because you got to understand. Okay, I feel like I'm just on one now. You got to understand that this assignment is not about you. It's about the kingdom. And he going to send and he going to move whoever he needs to move. When he say move them, you got to be obedient. Let me keep going so I can get off here. It says, so Lot thought he picked the good land, but he pitched a tent in Sodom. It was only this far for now, but later Lot would become the leader of this. Y'all watch this. Lot became the leader of Sodom, a sinful and a wicked place. He became the leader of that. Wait a minute, Lot, I thought you was over here with Abram and y'all love the Lord. Watch this. It's showing you what was really in the heart of somebody you had connected to. God revealed to you the heart of those that's around you, but you got to be in position to receive it when he revealed it to you. Oh, that's the devil, because I know they got my back. No, boo, they don't. God will show you their heart. Watch this. And so it says, in Lot became the leader, the one in charge of the sinful people, the one who was over here with Abram. It says, watch this. It says, after Lot, it says it was only this far, but Lot became the leader of this sinful city, valuing only the things that can be seen, increased his wealth temporarily. Oh, well, they look like they just growing. Oh, temporarily. Oh, they just look like they just winning. Well, honey, they don't even tithe. Well, honey, they don't even sow. And look at all temporarily. Y'all better take your eyes off what other people doing and get your eyes on what God is doing. It says he was blessed temporarily because eventually Lot would lose it all. His wife turned into a pillar of salt. Okay. After Lot had separated them, God wanted to talk to Abram alone. He said, I wasn't going to speak to you as long as you were connected to that. I wasn't going to show you what was your next. I'm not going to show you your next because of who's connected to you. Ooh, Jesus. I'm not going to show you your next. I'm not gonna give it to y'all. I could stay right there and tell y'all some stuff. I'm not gonna give it to you right now because of who you got with you. I'm gonna do what I said because I'm God. But you're just gonna prolong the process. You're just gonna have unnecessary warfare. You're just gonna keep going around the mountain, going around the mountain. Here she comes. It's gonna be you until you get rid of the dead weight. Watch this. It says, now that Lot is gone, God gets Abram by himself, and he reaffirms, watch this, the promise that he made to him. Watch this. He said, all the land you see, I'm going to give to you. He reminds him of his promise, not only to you, Abram, but to everybody connected to you. Do y'all hear this? Listen to how this thing ended. Lot tried to run after you were, here we go. How did this end up? Because you got Lot and you got Abram. Watch this. Jesus, help me. Close it out. Help me, Lord. You got Lot, who was the dead weight, who was connected, who started out looking like he was winning. See, because we get caught up in that with you. Because would y'all please stop looking over there? Let them go be great and do. Y'all, my block game is so serious. 100-hour blocks, soon as they leave, blocked, unfollow. I don't even know what you're doing. Because I don't want to get distracted. Because one thing I do know, you can't duplicate this. Okay. See, some of y'all get, well, they trying to do what I do. Well, honey, baby, you a trendsetter. Can I help y'all? They trying to do what I do. And they look like me. And they dressing like me. And they singing like me. And they preaching like me. And baby, they can't duplicate the anointing. You are a trendsetter. Can I help y'all? You set the trend for others to follow. Okay. Lot. What happens with Lot? He tries to run from what he created. Watch this. His flight from destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, during which his wife turned into a pillar of salt. Listen to this. Everything connected to Lot was destroyed. His wife turned to a pillar of salt. Lot was afraid to stay in Zoar. And so he and his two daughters, listen to this. Will y'all please unclog your ears right now so you can hear this one. So everybody turned on him. So now he's running from Sodom and Gomorrah. Watch this. His wife looks back, so she turned to a pillar of salt. So Lot and his daughters, watch this. They run and they settle in some hills, living in a cave. He doing so good, but now he over here living in a cave. Okay, watch this. Concerned, listen, y'all, watch this. Concerned for their father having descendants so the name can continue. Watch, listen to this. So they were concerned that our name gonna die. It gotta be some sons. So we gotta do something. So watch what his oldest daughter did. Let's sleep with our daddy. Y'all, when you read honey, when I tell you the Old Testament is like looking at a TV show, I am not kidding. So watch this. Lot's oldest daughter says, this is in Genesis 19. Lot's oldest daughter says, let's get our daddy drunk and have sex with him. Yo, daddy? This is why, okay. Why did his daughters think this was okay? Because he raised them in Sodom and Gomorrah. People they were sleeping with animals, they were doing it all. So his daughters say, because there ain't nothing wrong with this. This is what we was raised around. This is what we see. Let's get our daddy drunk and we're gonna have sex with him. And then our name will continue. Watch. So the oldest daughter did it, got him drunk, had sex with him. Then she went to her younger sister. Now you get him drunk, you have sex with him too. See, y'all be telling me, y'all can't read, get in the Old Testament, honey. It's better than the TV show. Listen, so the youngest daughter had sex with him too. And listen to what it says. The next night, you nasty. Okay, Tamika, just nasty. I'm going to sleep with him tonight. I'm going to get him drunk tonight and sleep with him. Tomorrow night, you get him drunk and you sleep with him. And the Bible says, and listen, they had sex. The younger sister did what she was supposed to do the following night. And from this incestuous union, they both had children. Nasty. But okay, so that's what happened with Lot. Let's look at what happened with Abraham. He became, watch this, the father of nations, just like God promised. If he had kept Lot with him, would have never happened. If he had kept Lot with him, would have never stepped into his promise. It says, Abraham became the father of nations, just like God promised him. Watch this. And the ultimate promise, can I? The ultimate promise through Abraham came Jesus. Without Jesus, wouldn't be no remission of sins. Huh? Do y'all see this thing? It says, like Isaac, whose birth was a miracle, Jesus' miraculous birth was born to fulfill the covenant. I gotta let my Holy Spirit go and marry and get her pregnant because of the promise that I made to Abraham. Jesus, Abraham ain't even here, but the seed, the promise is still speaking. I know when I am dead and gone, this anointing that's on my life, oh God, this anointing that's on my life still gonna be speaking through my grandchildren. The promises that God made to me about my offspring, about my children's children, it shall come to pass. But I can't have no dead weight. I can't allow it to be delayed. I can't allow it to be stagnated because of who I don't want to offend. You mean to tell me you don't want to offend nobody? And God gave you this great promise? You mean to tell me you don't want to? You mean to tell me you want to partially do what he said and hold up your promise because of people? Who is this for this morning? I ain't gonna do everything. I'm gonna do. Well, I'm gonna go, but I ain't gonna sow. I'm because you know God. I'm sowing with my time. Okay. God, here we go. This is the kicker right here. I'm gonna give an offering, but I ain't gonna tithe because I got bills to pay. Okay, partial obedience. God, I'm gonna go start this ministry. And I know you said don't take nobody with me, but I'm gonna need them because they good with marketing. But I'm gonna need this person over here. Well, God said, but I'm trying to send you somebody that's 10 times greater than them, but I can't send them because you got that. See, y'all be playing with it. I look at it in every aspect of my life. Listen, and it says, so we know what happened to Lot. Everything was destroyed. His daughters done slept with him. Incest going on. And all this, wife to turn to salt. Just a whole hot mess. But here we got Abraham, who looked like he was losing when, because it looked like Abraham was losing or had made a mistake because, see, watch this. Because Lot looked over there and the eyes that Lot looked at it, oh God, I love you. The eyes that Lot used to look over there at the land was the eyes of his flesh. Abraham was looking through the eyes of the spirit. God, you said your promises are yeah and amen. You said you said where my feet go, you gonna bless. So it don't matter what the land look like. Now, once I get over there, who is this for? It's gonna be blessed. It says, listen, so he became the father of nations. Jesus came through him. You can read that Galatians 3:16. And then it says, God told Abram that through him every nation on the earth, we blessed because of Abraham. Jesus, watch this. God promised Abraham that he would be blessed in order to be a blessing. It's just about me and my house, honey. As long as, you know what? I don't care about them folks. As long as my 4 girls and my grandkids and all them saved and sanctified and my mom and my brothers, I'm good. Kingdom is bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It is bigger than you. It is bigger than you. Who am I talking to this morning? It is bigger than you. Listen, you got to understand. Every dead weight, and I got to get off here and get to work. Every dead weight, you have to get rid of it. Every dead weight, you have to get rid of it in order to transition into what God is taking you into now in this season. He's calling us up. He's calling us to greater. He said, your ladder shall be greater, but I can't do it with what you have to check your surroundings. Check your circle. Job, check your circle. Job, check. I don't know who this is for. They look like they in it with you. They look like they all for you. Check your circle, Job. I hear you, God. Check your circle, Job. Who is it that you got around you that's really telling you, why don't you just curse God and die? Because you see this thing ain't going to work anyway. Why don't you just go out here and do X, Y, and Z? Why don't you just go on and do this right? So you always have to watch them people that's rushing you to go do stuff. Yeah, I got to get off here. I decree and I declare that God will open up your spiritual eyes to see what's really around you. I decree and I declare that God will give you prophetic dreams, that he will show you what is around you before it's too late. Because some of y'all going to run out of time. I keep saying, I feel like John the Baptist. Some of y'all going to run out of time. Some of y'all, the Bible says it's going to come a day when I ain't winking. I'm not winking at your sins no more. You can't use that excuse. Well, I ain't know no better. He said, you know better. He says, no more. Time is up. The bell has rung. He said, choose whose side you're going to be on. He said, because where I'm taking you, he said, you know what? I don't promise you all this stuff. You're not, he said, you delaying it. You behind schedule. He said, and you may die before you get it because you got dead weight. And I done gave you every sign. And I done told you. And I done told you. And I done showed you. The prophet said, the pastor said, 10 prophets confirmed it. And I'm still showing you. And you still in it. And you still got them right here with you. He said, separation time. I got to separate to elevate. Who is this for? Drops in the chat and I'm getting off here. I need to separate to elevate. I got to separate, oh God, so I can elevate you. But we want to hold on because it's familiar. We want to hold on because this is what I know. And I know what they're going to do. Do you want to keep the evil that you know instead of getting... See, we use all these little terms that makes no sense when you're talking kingdom. I know what they're going to do. I know what they're about. So I'm just going to keep them. No, you really don't. Look at all that was in Lot's heart that was never revealed until they separated. Till they separated. Listen, I got to get off here so I can get to work. I got to get off here so I can get to this school with these babies. Listen, if you want to sow, the information is on the bottom of the screen. I want you to tag that word, tag your seed transition. Transition. I'm not going to tell you what to sow. You know what God has laid in your heart to give if you want to give. Understand this. If you want to give, the information is on the bottom of the screen. If you need a place to tithe into, this is absolute fertile soil. Miracle signs, wonders follow this ministry. I said again, I want y'all to meet me September 29th. I will be at my coverings church. Listen, it's right here in Mount Holly on Lee Street. I will be there decreeing and declaring the word of the Lord. It will be another outpour God has already showed me. If you did not see that live from last Friday, go somewhere on my page or over there on YouTube land and find it. God did a mighty work. Listen, I need y'all to go and be great today. I need you to go and we need to represent our daddy today. I need you to go and make it a good day on purpose. Listen, I love you with the love of God. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I want you to have a good day on purpose.